Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be making my predictions for game week 37 of the 25-26 EFL Championship season. We are very much into the running stages now, and before we begin I will get the microphone set up for later in the week. It's over there, just got to get it set up, so don't worry about the audio quality. And without further ado, let's see how I did last week. I got one scoreline bob on. I got Swansea beating Stoke 2-0 correct, plus 4 more outcomes correct, so that's 7 points, taking my season total up to 263. And this is how the table looks after 36 matches. And without further ado, let's predict this midweek. And we're going to start with tonight. It's a huge match in the playoff race. It's Wrexham against Hull City. And this is a big one. Wrexham currently sitting in 6th, Hull are 5th. This is a tricky one. Wrexham only just did the business. They actually won. They were playing Chelsea in the FA Cup over the weekend, lost 4-2 to them in extra time. They did get the business done last time in the Championship, I believe. 1-0 over Charlton away, and they're on pretty good run of form still. Hull are a tricky one to predict as well, because they weren't on the best run of form, but they've started to pick up again. They're still very much in this playoff discussion. I can't go against Wrexham though, based on their form. I don't want to back Hull to lose heavily either. I think with it being at the racecourse, I am going to back Wrexham for the win. But I think it'll be close, and I think there'll be goals. I think Wrexham will win 3-2. I think maybe Hull does push, but I think Wrexham ultimately narrowly gets the 3 points. 3-2 to Wrexham. Next up, we've got Sheffield Wednesday against Watford. And this is a tricky... Well, it's not really that tricky. Sheffield Wednesday keep losing, unfortunately. But their performances since they've been relegated have been... They've been showing up, they've been getting goals. And this game is at Hillsborough, and I do like Sheffield Wednesday to get goals at home. But Watford under Ed Steele, they are doing well themselves. They're currently 9th in the table. They're just on the outskirts of the playoffs. I'm not entirely convinced they'll make it, but I do think they will edge this game. I'll go Watford to win 2-1. I think Sheffield Wednesday might get a goal from somewhere, but ultimately I think Watford have enough for the 3 points. 2-1 to the Hornets. Next up, we've got Leicester City against Bristol City in a battle of two sides who do have different aspirations this season. Leicester, you've got to admit, is basically focusing on survival now. Bristol City are still focused on the playoffs, although their form suggests they will be in and around mid-table by the end of the season. Thing is, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not sure Leicester's that bad. I know they got points deducted and they haven't been great this season, but I think that, Oxford are performing as well, but I think of all the clubs down there, I do think Leicester is the one that is consistent enough to get out of this mess. But I don't know, because Bristol City on their day can show up and get results over the line as well. I don't know which Bristol City side will show up, so I'm going to go down the middle with a 1-1 draw on this one. I think both sides will fairly happy with a point to push on with. Of course, Leicester need the 3 points ideally to get out of the drop zone, but I think it will end in a point apiece and a goal apiece, a 1-1 draw. Next up, we've got Portsmouth against Swansea City. And, well, this is interesting. Of course, Swansea's on a fairly good run of form, but they're not great on the road this season. And Portsmouth are at Fratton Park, and, I do quite like Portsmouth at home to get something here. Um, Portsmouth can score goals at home, but Swansea are good as well. I think this might end in a draw, you know. I'll go down the middle with a Desmond, a 2-2 draw on this one. I think a point would keep both above the drop zone, and Swansea's pushing on from mid-table, so I think a point's not the end of the world for either side here. So I'll go for a Desmond, a 2-2 draw on this one. Next up, we've got Millwall against Derby County. And this is a big playoff match. It's tricky because I do like Derby on the road. I think they've been very good away from home this season. But Millwall are Millwall. They're actually doing really well. They're currently third in the table, and they are a side that's still currently pushing for top 2. And they're at home. I know Millwall have had trusty 1-0s recently in this season, but I think Derby might score, so I think we might have to push it up. I do think Millwall will ultimately get the win and the 3 points over the line. I'll go Millwall to win 2-1 on this one. I'll give Derby a goal. I think they're impressive, but I don't know if I can back them to draw here, so I'll go for a Millwall win 2-1 on this one. Next up, we've got Stoke City against Ipswich Town. And Ipswich are another side that are pushing for top 2 here this season, although for them to make it, they have to, go pretty much near perfect for the remaining 10 or so games of the season. They've got 11 or 10, and they've got a game or two in hand as well. It is at the Bet365 stadium, but Stoke haven't been... Well, they've struggled to score recently, let's be honest, but they have scored goals. I've seen them score goals. And, well, but I can't back against Ipswich. They've got to keep winning to try and make top 2 here, and I'm not sure they will, but I think they will win this one. I don't see Stoke getting anything here. I will give them a goal, but Ipswich win it 2-1. I think Ipswich and Kieran McKenna, he knows what it takes to get promoted from this level, and I think he might just get it over the line. 2-1 to the Tractor Boys here, a huge 3 points. Next up, we've got Oxford United against Blackburn Rovers in a huge relegation 6-pointer here, and Oxford have been rapid recently. They've been scoring goals 3-1. I think they've won a couple games in a row 3-1 now. Well, they've on the back of back-to-back victories, which is very important in this relegation scrap. And Blackburn's form has really tailed off now. No, Matt Bloomfield, since he's come into Oxford, has done a job with them. I think they will get the win here. I've been very impressed with them recently. And I think they might get the 3 points over the line here. I'll go for Oxford to win 2-0. I'll give them a clean sheet to boot as well. I think... I just can't see Blackburn scoring here. Well, I can. But I can't see anything other than an Oxford win, not based on the games they've had recently and the good run of form they're on. So 2-0 Oxford. And another huge 3 points to maybe even lift themselves out of the bottom 3 in this one. And talking of just being above the bottom 3, we've got West Brom, and they're taking on Southampton. And, well done, Southampton. We've made it to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup over the weekend, beating Fulham 1-0. A last-minute Ross Stewart penalty, sending us through. I wonder if that's taken it out of us, because, taking Fulham all the way against the Premier League side, that can't be easy, but we've got a fairly winnable game here against West Brom. It is at the Hawthorns, that's what I'll say. It is at the Hawthorns, and do like West Brom more at home. I could see it being a draw, but West Brom have been pretty woeful recently. I've got to go with Southampton. I'll go and back Southampton to win 2-1. We need the 3 points to try and, make playoffs, and I think we will get the 3 points here. 2-1 to Southampton to potentially put West Brom deep in the relegation trouble in the hole. So 2-1 to the Saints. Let's march on. Next up, we've got Middlesbrough against Charlton Athletic. And, well, what can we say about Borough? 4-0 winners against QPR on Sunday evening. And, they're still second in the table. They're still behind Coventry, but they're scoring goals left, right and centre. They're scoring goals for fun right now. But their opposition's Charlton. They tend to be quite cagey this season, so I don't really know where to go with this one. Nathan Jones loves to keep things cagey, especially, with the big sides. But I do think Middlesbrough their quality will show in this one. I think Charlton are have well enough quality to draw maybe, but Borough have been scoring a lot recently. About Middlesbrough to win 3-1. I think Charlton might find a goal from somewhere, but I do think Borough will ultimately get the 3 points and 3 goals. 3-1 to Borough. Next up, we've got Norwich City against Sheffield United. And, well, this is a big one as well. Norwich will be more rested in this one, given Sheffield United did play over the weekend, although Norwich won't actually, because they played Leeds in the FA Cup and lost 3-0. But this is back at Carrow Road, and I have been impressed with Sheffield United and Chris Wilder in recent times, to be fair. Norwich at home are tricky to beat, though, at the minute. I think there'll be goals in this one. I'll go down the middle with another Desmond on this one. A 2-2 draw again. I think point wouldn't really help either in the aspirations, but I do think both will finish mid-table and maybe try and make a push for at least playoffs next season. But I'm going for Desmond, a 2-2 draw on this one. Next up, we've got Birmingham City against QPR. And this is a battle of two sides who are in pretty poor form at the minute. Both sides are kind of starting to slip down the table a bit now. But it is at St Andrews, and I do like Birmingham at home. And I think they will pick up the bulk of the remaining points at home here. But QPR, yes, they're a streaky side, but they can get results when you kind of don't expect it. And Birmingham haven't been putting out the greatest results or runs or performances recently. I don't know what to go with here, so I'll go down the middle with a 1-1 draw. If I had to pick a winner, I would pick Birmingham, being the home side, but I do fancy QPR to maybe find a last-minute equaliser, so I'll go for a 1-1 draw and a point apiece. A share of the spoils. And then finally, we've got Coventry City, top of the table, against Preston North End in mid-table, I think somewhere 16th maybe. Now, Preston have traditionally been Coventry's bogey team. They've been very tricky to play against, if you cough. I know they've beaten them once or twice at the CBS, and Preston are struggling. They're on a goal drought at the minute, and they're struggling, and Coventry are on a really good win streak right now. I think it's 5 games in a row, 5 or 6, and Coventry are going really well, and at home at the CBS, I do think Coventry will get the 3 points over the line, and I think I'll be a clean sheet as well. I'll go Cov to win 2-0. I think Preston haven't been an easy side to play against in the past for Cov, or this season recently. They're very cagey, very tricky to play against, but I think ultimately Coventry's promotion mentality will push them through here. 2-0 Cov. And there you have it, guys. All 12 of this midweek's championship fixtures predicted. Make sure to let me know your predictions in the comments down below. And we'll be back later in the week to see how I did with the set and predict this weekend's games. But for now, I'll see you all in the next one.